Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Vegeta Saiyan Army. Today, we're covering how to play against the green decks. If you're liking, subscribing, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. If you guys are joining the Facebook page, Vegeta Saiyan Army, thank you. Means a lot. Very cool. Don't be post memes in there. Post your deck lists. I'll go into them. I'll talk about them, or we might roast you. Um, but today we're talking about how to play against green. Green, I think, is the best color in the game right now, but it's not unbeatable. Um, if you look at people's energy, I've been talking about this forever. You can get information about it if you're a new player. Um, you can see here we have the super combos, the negates. Green is a color of destruction of the board and the hand, right? That's the common theme we see in green. Red is aggressive, blue is defensive and energy manipulation, yellow rests your cards, and black is weak but a lot of free attackers. Black is very versatile though. So to know how to get around green, we have to know how it actually plays. And if we see here, Shocking Death Ball and Kakunza are two negates that can destroy your battle cards. So if you read Shocking Death Ball, you know that it can destroy a 1-drop or a 2-drop. So if you're sequencing against it and you have a 1-drop you plan on playing, swing with the leader first, then swing with whatever you have to, then play your 1-drop. Same with Kakunza. If you feel like you have an effect that can bring out a guy like Bardock the Resolute, use the skill last, then bring him out, and then swing. Obviously, Kakunza is 2 energy, and Shocking Death Ball is 1 energy. So when you're sequencing and you see them have a certain amount of energy tapped, you can play around those things. And the Sparking 5 is the number of cards needed in the drop area to use it for free by taking a life. So always keep track of the drop area, always read what's in the drop area. Like black, green is good at using its drop area, right? Because for example, Cell or Dredgeku put cards there, and then they use cards like to Save a Hopeful Future to bring out 4 or 5 drops that are green. Just be aware of that. So I believe I've seen from my testing that early aggression helps. When I was testing Green Goku and Frieza this set, Green Gohan, that was one of the decks. Red Gohan and actually Green Gohan were some of the decks that did really well against green strategies. The early, and that's why I'm using it here. Gohan goes so early, so aggressively, so early that it can make your opponent think twice about taking his own life. With, for example, Green Goku effects, the burn effects. Are pretty good as well. Burn effects, especially when a card is being played or it's alliance, it's great because it doesn't give your opponent a defensive step to go around the burn, right? Even if they do KO, at alliance does trigger an attack, which is pretty great if you have a card like a Gogeta Acrobatic Warrior. So there are ways to go around it. I think early aggro is really good. So again, be aware of the super combos, what they do. If you're swinging, know that Bionic Blitz is a card that makes you bottom deck a card, so be conscious, right? Be conscious of your combo step, of what you're comboing, what you can get rid of, right? If you're going offensively, cards you want to get rid of, so they don't get bottom decked first, right? Vegeta's a little different. He makes you drop any card from your hand when he's played. Another interaction that I see a lot is Bibbidi Super Combo. In my last video, I talk a lot about how to play against black, and I wanted to save this for this video because I wanted to talk about it with green. It's cards like Combo Killer and Anilaza that take things out of the combo area. And as powerful as Bibbidi is, the reason why I'm okay with it not getting banned yet is because green is so good at taking cards out of the combo area, such as Bibbidi or other problematic cards. Something I wanted to talk about is if you're playing against green, further to touch and Champa, even if it does get taken out of the combo area, the double strike still happens because you did a combo with it, and the card you chose, which is the leader, will still retain that double strike. It just won't get the 10,000 combo And again, like I always say, you should always sideboard a Toa Twisted Sister, because green and black just have so many cards. Like if you're playing against these decks, this is a card you bring in. Not only is it a cantrip, it replaces cards, it replaces your hand, but you can get problematic cards like Ribrianne. She makes you drop 2 cards. Or the Son Goku Saiyan Instincts. He makes your opponent draw 2, right? Um, Green is just very versatile, very hard to beat. Another way that you can beat it, besides early aggro, is if we look at the history of Dragon Ball Super. I think if you look at the old hand control strategies like Cell Chain, I remember when people would play Cell Chain, the card everyone would always keep is a card like Burst Attack Gohan. I remember back in the day it was a very good card, and at all costs Vegeta. And at all costs Vegeta is such a cool card to think about because not only because he's a Vegeta, obviously, but because he had removal for the Cell, he had the draw power when you take the 2 life, and he's a threat. Like he's a really good threat, so he's very good. And the way we adapted to that back then is the way I think we should adapt now. When I just had a Gotenks Unison here on board, I don't think he's the best red Unison, but I think he's being slept on because he actually is really, really good. He does self-awaken you, he does look at your opponent's hand, and I think that we need to adapt and play the way green does, because green is a color that the reason it's so good is because the leaders have the strength and the unisons. I mean, they have great battle cards, but these can be destroyed. I think that if we play set 9 against a set 10 deck, we're just gonna lose. You know what I mean? Like, so let's talk about Shenron Unison of Rescue. If you guys remember Shoe Control, like a few years ago, there was a card called the Trunks Overwhelm that brings out a vanilla, giving him critical. Well, if you tap 1, play this Shenron, and you can give it double strike now. Very aggressive. Again, I like decks that can be aggressive and can make your opponent think twice about taking its own life, such as Dredgeku. And again, another thing I like about it is that the +1 makes you draw a card. So if you're playing Kidku, maybe if you're playing other decks that have skillless cards, right? Usually those decks are a bit aggressive. If we read here, this card cannot attack, and if it would lose a marker from an attack, you may place 1 card from your life in your drop area instead. And it doesn't say anything about needing a black leader, right? Activate main, you may choose one of your skillless battle cards. If you do, the card gains double strike for the turn and draw a card. So if you're playing with Hit Leader, for example, and you're playing green skillless battle cards from a drop, and you're playing them for free because Hit does that, just remember that you're drawing a card if you have Pod on the field, and Pod makes you draw a card every time you draw a green card or play a green card from the drop, which means that your Nappa super combos are drawing, and it also means that Shenron has a lot of targets. Again, you draw for the Shenron leader, you draw for Pod, and which is the 1-drop green field card that makes you draw every time a green card is brought from the drop area to the field. And I just like the aggression of it. I like the fact that it draws a lot, so you're basically drawing 2 with this, and it's very good. The Gotenks is another one. It has the removal, and you can draw 2. It has dual attack. I think that against green, we have to take out the unisons. We have to do it, and Gotenks can do it very well. Again, it has the removal. It has the drawing power. If you're playing against green and you're playing, I try to put a card from each color here. And green isn't here, obviously, because we're talking about playing against green. But if you do have a problem against green and you don't mind playing green yourself, green Gohan leader, right? Cell can't play Zamasu Super combo. Oh no, he can. I'm sorry, but like Dredgeku, these guys can't play Zamasu Super combo, which is one of the worst enemies in Green Gohan. And Green Gohan just attacks way too much, way too early. Green Broly, I guess, as well. But if you're attached to yellow now, Vegeta Unison of Fury has been like my favorite finisher in yellow decks. If you guys have been watching any of my videos, I've been playing a lot of Baby, and I've been putting this guy in there because the 1-drop Baby and Dr. Muse are free, and I can just rest them to give this guy counters. Um, I also play the Shenron Secret Rare because it becomes a 1-drop with all my 1-drops on the board or on the drop area. Um, just be aware we have to adapt and use a lot of the unisons to fight green strategies as well. Majin Buu. Majin Buu is a deck that is getting slept on. Yesterday I talked about Black a lot. I talked about some of the counter plays it has. Go watch my video about how to play against black decks. Majin Buu is great against green, I think, because it doesn't mind its board getting too beat up. It is aggressive enough. And at the same time, it does draw every turn. It draws 5. So it's not exactly attached to its hand in a way. I think that cards like the 1-drop Vegeta, like the super combo, they're very powerful. It is a bit easy to get around. Obviously, we don't have General Tao to combat hand control anymore, but it is possible. I think the best decks are going to be green this set. It's not tier 0 though, it is tier 1 if you're looking for leaders to play. Red is kind of fucked. Red isn't that great this set, but Red Gohan Burn, I do like that deck. Yamcha Burn, I think could be great against Cell. Same with Red Baby. I've been having a lot of success with the Red Vegeta. I know he's being slept on, but nobody's, I guarantee you, played it as much as me. I have, because I play it like all the time. The black cards, obviously Vegex, obviously Towa. The problem with Towa is that green does hand control quicker and better for the most part. For blue, I like Vegeta, the starter deck, because he draws every time something is KO'd, so it's kind of weird. He does awaken early, and he uses his unison really well. Also, the starter coup reboot can draw a lot of cards in turn 3. Out of yellow, I'd like the Gotenks. He's very generic, just like Pan was. He does draw a lot. If you're sequencing against yellow, you'll be able to tell just how good Gotenks can be, because he draws every time these any extra cards. And again, yeah, Majin Buu. If you guys have any more questions about this, again, this is a very difficult video just because green is so good, and sequencing against green can be a pain in the butt. If you guys have anything that you'd like to add, if you disagree with anything I say here, if you don't think green is the best color, what is your favorite color of this set? What's a deck that you could build? Next, we're going to be talking about blue tomorrow, and if you guys have questions, let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe. Go follow Vegeta Saiyan Army on Facebook, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.